did you have some experiences where fans kind of heads exploded when they saw you together out in the wild?
Yeah, I mean, Clava Cairns was quite busy with fans, wasn't it, Sam?
To be totally frank, Josh, it was the opposite. So in one of the scenarios, without giving away too much, we were driving into a castle called Castle Cawdor, and we happened to suddenly find ourselves, due to Graham's directions, that we were now driving the route of a marathon race, and the marathon runners were behind us. At which point we got stuck in the gates of the castle, which was the only entrance for the marathon runners. So as they came running up, they couldn't get past us because we were blocking the entrance. So yeah, no, I didn't think they asked for our autograph, but they did ask us to
get the hell out of the way.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they were incredibly abusive. They were very abusive. I mean, and rightly so.
I've never been more abused by men in very small shorts before.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's true, Sam.
Well,
let's go deep. Yeah. You alluded to this, but I'm curious. You spend all this time in these confined spaces, these beautiful spaces. That's a lot of one-on-one time between the two of you. What do you guys talk about? Like, what's the most common just conversation? Is it Sam just talking endlessly about what a great James Bond he'd be? Like, what's the actual conversation between the two of you?
Wow.
I talked a lot about staying alive. I talked a lot about feeling fearful and worrying that Sam was plotting constantly to endanger my life, which indeed he was. So we did a lot of that. But we actually, in all seriousness though, some of the things I think we both enjoyed more than anything was the stuff we did in the camper van, where we just sat and talked, and we had GoPros that were filming what we were talking about, but and a poor long-suffering sound man who was sort of sliding around in the back of the camper van trying to record what we were saying. But it was that was the really, really, really fun part for me. Was just in the van.
And Scotland is such an incredible country, and I think we hopefully bring that across in the book and the TV show as well. And we were just constantly surprised by the beauty of Scotland and by the characters. But and meanwhile, of course, Graham is always eating, so there wasn't much conversation because he's just stuffing his face the whole time.
It's always difficult to talk with the amount of food that I'm shoveling in my mouth. This is true.
I'm surprised you're not eating now, actually.
Well, I'm. If you could see my hands, they're just filled with food, just waiting for this to be over.
I want to see your bags. I want to see how many bags you've packed, and are they filled with snacks?
I've got a lot of bags. You don't want to see them, mate. There's too many of them.
Wait, does Graham get hangry? Does Graham get angry when he's not fed?
Oh, Josh. So this is something that we had to factor into shooting the TV show as well as writing the book. I think if the man, and dare I say this is truth, but the man doesn't eat every 2 hours, there will be blood.
It's true.
You can rely on him.
Look, it really, it's true.
Okay, I noticed in the book there's a long list of grievances that Graham has, things that annoy you, Graham.
Oh, and I had to stop. They told me to stop at 21.
Got that sense. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I was barely scratching the surface. Yeah.
What are one or two that always get under your skin? What are your pet peeves?
Oh, Josh. Oh my goodness. I think I start with constant music wherever you go. So the constant intrusion of music, it seems to be, I don't know exactly when it happened, the idea that you simply can't function in any environment without sound constantly around you. I think it started with elevators, and then it just sort of morphed into, and now there are actual outdoor streets where it's just there, just in case you might be alone with yourself for a few moments without sound. So that kind of annoys me. Really weak handshakes. That's
How's Sam's handshake?
People by that.
How's his handshake?
Sam's got a good firm handshake. That first time I met him, he shook my hand, and I immediately thought, yes, good. Not bone crushing.
No.
Not bone crushing.
No.
Yeah.
We met a couple of guys who had bone crushing handshakes on the job,
Right.
Just terrifying. But no, Sam has got a nice medium to strong handshake.
There's a little caress in there as well, isn't there?
Little rub
it's a
of the
tickle.
back.
He does a little.
Yeah.
He does a little tickle with one of his fingers on your palm.
It's like the Masonic handshake, but slightly different.
Without any of the benefits. Yeah.
No. You join a special club. Yeah.
With all these this long list of things that annoy Graham, like, did you know early on, Sam, that you were essentially befriending like the Scottish Larry David, like this guy that was just everything
so
bothered?
I mean, absolutely. The fact is, and dare I say, the more that I could wind up Graham, the more that I could get him to fume and blow up, with the better. It is, I dare I say, a childish pleasure of mine. And in moments where, dare I say, there was a moment where I was distracted or slightly bored of driving, just to find some way of winding him up is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, he certainly did.
He's like the sort of Scottish bad Santa.
Where's your list of pet peeves? Are you waiting for that for the sequel? Sam does not. I mean, I know things bother you, or maybe it's just me.
Oh,
Where's your list of? Yeah, Graham, what would be on Sam's list? What's your way of annoying Sam?
Josh. I mean, Josh is number one, right? Every time I open up my Zoom, you're there. It seems.
Just waiting in your computer.
just. Lack of alcohol. Lack of alcohol is something that bothers Sam. If it's not available, like whiskey, if it's not nearby, he doesn't like that. Yeah. So we always had to have it.
We did. I mean, that's part of the Scottish adventure, I think, and we talk a lot about whiskey. I mean, you kind of have to because we're in Scotland. But we met some great people who taught us a lot about whiskey making and the history of whiskey. But I think actually in the book, it's not my pet peeves, but you get a sort of list of Scottish expressions or like Scottish slang. So hopefully everyone can learn them.
Speaking of drinking, who can hold their liquor better? Who can handle it a little bit better at this point?
Well, I would say Sam. Judging by how sprightly he would be in the mornings.
I mean, you like a fine. We're very different, I think I will stick to whiskey, and but Graham is a connoisseur of anything very expensive that is being charged to my hotel room. So, so the finest Chablis by the looks of the bill.
Yeah, and often I didn't even drink it. I just asked them to open it, and then just left the room.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why our budget was so
walked
big.
off. Yeah. Just
there's a great story. Go ahead.
No, I don't drink at all. This is the truth. Is that all I was doing was, I've been teetotal for years, but Sam thinks I was drinking loads of wine. Charging him to his room.
That's now what is in your bags when you're leaving the airport, right? It's just filled with open bottles of very expensive wine.
Yeah, it's 300 bottles of Sassenach spirits he got from you, comped.
That's where it's gone.
Oh yes, yes. I haven't even got one, Josh. Not one.
Nor me, if it's any consolation. What the hell?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you got one.
No, I did get one at our event. You're right. I lied.
Did you, Josh?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, Josh got one.
Nice.
Yeah,
I did.
Good.
Maybe you'll get there in your friendship one day. You're not quite at the Josh level, Graham, with all due respect.
Yeah. Sure.
There's a great story in the book about a kind of a wild night. I think it was at your apartment, right, Graham, where everybody drank quite a bit. And some of the folks had to work the next day. What do you recall or don't recall about that night?
Well, I planned the event, so I cunningly planned it around my day off the next day so that I wasn't working. Sam and Duncan and Katrina and everybody else who was there were going to a read-through. The main thing I remember is we shouldn't have started with the sake. We started with the sake and then went on to the whiskey. That was an error. We shouldn't have done that. We bought a lot of whiskey. We bought a lot. And by the end of it, I think there was only half a bottle left. And that was then consumed by Duncan Lacroix. and remember him falling through my glass table in my living room, and then me carrying him to bed.
The mark of any great party, when somebody falls through a table. He was being
picked up at 8. I knew it had succeeded. Yes. Yes.
What's slightly worrying about this whole scenario was obviously not the copious amounts of alcohol that we drank, and that we were there. We were actually there with some of the producers as well. So it was that we haven't actually told any of our castmates the contents of our book yet. So when they read the book, it could be quite interesting. Yeah. So you've just
especially Duncan Lacroix's 11 top 10 tips for a good night out.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
That could be bad.
This could fracture a lot of friendships. Speaking of which, has Katrina read the book or no?
Well, we thought it best that we just get it all out there and then run away very fast. So Graham's already obviously on his grand escape, and I'm in an undisclosed hotel somewhere in the UK, and hopefully she'll never find me. So yeah, I think the damage has been done.
Can you think of another co-stars, whether it's Katrina, Vin Diesel, whoever, that would be good to go on a road trip with besides Graham, Sam?
Well, I mean, I think it looks like he's thinking.
He's thinking really
very deep.
He's pondering.
Yeah. Co-stars. Well, that's a good
question.
Very
worrying.
Oh, here he comes.
Oh, he's coming back into our existence.
I think co-stars on Outlander, I mean, you know, Graham's obviously a brilliant co-star, and I think Katrina would be just awesome. To be honest, her prodigious nature for drinking Irish whiskey is probably, that would be even more dangerous than Graham. But I think possibly, yeah, let's go for Vin Diesel. I mean, the man's a character. You'd have an interesting time, to say the least. And he is a man like adventure, and God knows where you'll end up.
We thankfully Graham is back, and he missed the incriminating story about how he wants to end the friendship. So everything's good.
Wow.
The things he said while you were gone.
I go for a moment, and this is what happens.
No, we would agree. Everything.
Did you, Graham, when you left Outlander, often, you know, the nature of the job is like sometimes it's hard to maintain friendships after you come and go from a series. Were you confident when your time had passed on Outlander that this particular friendship was going to continue and last?
I missed that, Josh.
Oh, it's okay. So I guess the question is, were you confident? Like, what made you think that this relationship would continue past leaving Outlander? Because this is it's a bit unusual.
You what, honest, yeah, kind of. I guess it is. Yeah. I mean, I have to say that one of the really great things about that show was how everybody got on together, especially the core group of the Highlanders and Katrina. We all just, you know, me, Gary, Grant, Duncan, Sam, Katrina, we all got on, Stephen Walters. We had a really, really good time. And I see a lot of Sam. I see quite a bit of Katrina, and I see a lot of Duncan. I even went on holiday with Duncan with my kids, which I think was probably quite scary for a lot of the people that encountered us. But it was, yeah, we've become very close, and certainly doing this experience with Sam, writing the book and doing the show, we've got a lot closer. It's great. It's really great.
Yeah. I think there's something that happened in the making of Outlander. It's certainly season 1. We had this core group of Highlanders and this core cast, and I think we all bonded a lot on the show. I guess when you're all slightly green, or we didn't really know what the show was, and we were thrown in together, I think we all really, it brought us closer. And, you know, even Tobias Menzies as well, you know, who back in season 1, I think there's just this great experience that we all had together, and I think it's bonded us. Though it has to be said, I believe Duncan's role on your family holiday was to be the babysitter and chef, from what I hear. But
no, he was not the babysitter. He did a bit of cooking. That's true. He's just a much better cook than me.
How often did you cook?
I definitely made breakfast a couple of times. Definitely. And I remember buttering some bread.
Is that a euphemism?
I poured the wine.
Okay.
I poured the wine.
The most important job.
I opened the wine. I even opened it. You know. So.
What was it like being back on set last year on Outlander? Was it a different kind of an experience? Did it feel like coming home again, or what?
It really did feel like coming home. It really did. I mean, the weird part about it was that they insisted on this secret name for me. So I was known as Buck Rogers on the call sheet. Yes, Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers on my trailer.
I suggested Buck Rogers, but they didn't go with it.
They did. They did. It was on my trailer. When I booked into the hotel, I said, "Oh, Graham McTavish," and they went, "No, we don't have anybody by that name." And I went, "Do you have anybody by the name of Buck Rogers by any chance?" And they went, "Oh, yes, Mr. Rogers." Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
it was interesting.
Buck. Yeah.
It wasn't amazing how everyone sort of used this name, and it was real secrecy, wasn't it? Even you driving in to work, everyone was asking at first, the crew, like, who is Buck Rogers?
Who is Buck Rogers?
Buck. Yeah, word soon got
Uncle Buck. He's coming.
I feel like we've built up this friendship enough. It's time to tear it apart. Are you guys ready for some trivia?